We're back. So this was our first entry on behalf of the seller. So again, when the seller sold the product, debit account receivable, credit sales revenue for the sales price, they would debit cost of goods sold for the amount they pay for the product and then credit the inventory account. Now, remember before when we returned the product as the buyer, think about it from the viewpoint of the seller. When you sell a product and the product is returned back to you, we have an account title called Sales Return and Allowances. So in the instance where the product is actually returned to us, it's known as a sales return. But if we allow them some type of reduction in price because the product was damaged, defective, etc., that's known as a sales allowance. You put those two together to get your sales return and allowance account. Now, this account is known as a contra revenue account. It is known as a contra revenue account. The word contra means opposite or against. Normally, your revenue accounts increase on the credit side, but because this is a contra revenue account, it is going to increase on the debit side. Now, in this account, sales return allowances is used to reduce your sales revenue to what we call net sales. So what you'll see when we get to the income statement, we'll show total sales for the accounting period, but then we'll subtract out any return allowances to get what's known as your net sales. So again, recall that Salk Studio returned to us supplies that we charged them $3 for. Now for us, PW Auto Supply, we pay for those items $140. So when there's a sales return, it also requires two set of journal entries. First, you would debit your contra revenue account for $3 and credit account receivable. Because the product was returned back to us, the customer now owes us less money. So debit the sales allowance account and credit account receivable. But now we have more inventory. So we'll put it back in inventory. We'll debit inventory for the $140, which is the cost that we pay for it, and credit our cost of goods sold account. Because an item that was sold initially has now been returned back to us, reducing the cost of goods sold, which is your expense account. So from the viewpoint of the seller, when a product is returned back to us, it requires two sets of journal entries, one to debit the sales return and allowance account and credit account receivable for the actual sales price, the other to debit inventory and credit the cost of goods sold for our costs. Now, what if they return a product to us that is defective and we really can't use it? So we're saying they return products to us and it had a scrap value of, say, let's say $50. So you still debit the first entry, sales return allowance and credit account receivable, and now we're going to just debit inventory for the actual scrap value in this case, which would just be the $50. Okay, you still have two set of journal entries, just at a lower value for the inventory account and your cost of goods sold. The cost of goods sold is determined and recorded each time a sales occurs in A, B, C, or D. B is correct. With the perpetual inventory system, we're going to update the inventory account every time we buy or sell an inventory item. Okay? Now, just like we had the purchase discounts recognized by the buyer, it would be a sales discount for the actual seller. So a sales discount is also known as a contra revenue account, meaning it's going to have a balance shown on the debit side. Let's put it all together. We had a sales return for $3,800. I'm sorry, sales revenue for $3,800. But then there's a return in the amount of $300. And we offer them a discount for paying in 10 days in the amount of $70. So on your multiple step income statement, you will show sales revenue, but less any sales returns and less any sales discounts to calculate what's known as your net sales. Okay? So again, this is the journal entry from the viewpoint of the seller when the buyer paid us within the discount period. The amount of cash received is $3,430, which is the $3,500 less the 2% discount. We debit the sales discount account in the amount of $70, credit account receivable in the amount of $3,500. Now let me caution you, when doing your homework, ask yourself the question, am I the buyer or the seller? Because that will determine the account type you're going to use to record these different types of inventory transactions. Okay? Next, we move on to what's called a multiple step income statement and a comprehensive income statement. First, there's what's called a single step income statement, which if you've done before, that just shows total revenues less your total expenses. Okay? So this particular format is simple, easy to read. However, it's not as detailed as one might need for it to be. So what you'll see that with the multiple step income statement, it still lists your revenue accounts and your expenses, but it's going to show the different types of revenue, the different types of expenses. You're going to see different categories on what's known as a multiple step or a classified income statement. So again, here is a sample of a single step income statement. You list the revenue all together. Notice it says net sales. It doesn't even show us the sales returns or the discount. It just shows the net sales. All the expenses are shown together. Subtract total expenses from total revenue to get your net income. Now again, this is a nice, cute little income statement. But again, we may need more detailed information about this company before we decide to invest in them. So we'll take a look at what's known as the multiple step income statement. All right. With the multiple step income statement, we have three important sections: the gross profit section, the income from operations sections, and net income. You must understand how to calculate each of these components that make up what's known as a multiple step income statement. Let's begin with our gross profit calculations. All right. To get your gross profit is net sales minus your cost of goods sold would give us our gross profit. Again, net sales less cost of goods sold would give us our gross profit. To get our income from operations, you take your gross profit less your operating expenses. Again, to compute your income from operation, you take your gross profit less your operating expenses. When you think about your operating expenses, these are the costs of doing business. Typically, they're divided between what we call general and administrative expenses, and we'll take a further look at the different types of operating expenses. Okay, so gross profit less operating expenses would give us our income from operations. We then have this next section known as other revenues and gains, other expenses and losses. Again, other revenues and gains, other expenses and losses. When we think of other revenue, this is revenue earned from a source other than our principal business activities. Again, other revenue is revenue earned from a source other than our principal business activity. So think about it this way. You may have a main job, okay? The income earned from your main job would be about the income from operations. But perhaps on occasion you have a side job where you're painting, doing lawn care service, providing, I don't know, doing manicures or something. You will call that other revenue. It is revenue earned from a source other than your principal business activity. So we separate income earned from principal activities from those earned from other sources on the classified income statement. So if in this situation, they did not have any other revenues, but they did have other expenses and losses. And those are shown separately to get what's called your income before income tax. Now, every company is assigned an income tax rate based upon, based upon the amount of their income before income taxes. They'll give you a rate. It could be 20%, it could be 21%, it could be 15%. It just depends upon which tax bracket they fall up under. But subtract the income tax expense from your income before income taxes to get your net income. Don't worry, we're going to go through all of this over again, the different sections of the multiple step income statement. Okay? Now notice that to get to your net sales, you first have to know your total sales revenue, less any sales return allowances, and less any sales discount. So remember that these two accounts, sales returns and sales discounts, are both known as contra revenue accounts. They're subtracted from total sales to compute what's known as net sales on the classified income statement. To compute your gross profit again, gross profit is just net sales less your cost of goods sold. Difference between what we sold the products for, net sale, and how much we pay for them, cost of goods sold, would give us our gross profit. Now the operating expenses are now more detailed. Cost of doing business. These are the expenses that took place in order to run our business. Had to pay out salaries, utilities, we had to advertise, depreciation, we pay some freight costs, some insurance. These are known as your different types of operating expenses. This next category we call non-operating activity. Again, these are revenues and gains, expenses and losses from a source other than our principal business activity. So notice that we have interest revenue, will qualify as being other revenue. We have gain on disposal of a plant asset. This means that we sold a plant asset, maybe equipment, machinery, building. It was sold for a price higher than its book value. We recognize a gain. We have an entire chapter that will teach us more about how to determine a gain or a loss on disposal of a plant asset. Okay? We're going to stop here and come back with a conclusion of our Chapter 5 discussion.